I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear me over all of the fans going on here. There we go. This is the Voron 2.4. This is its first print. This is the Voron test cube. Voron Design Cube V7 to be precise. Printing in PLA. Yes, I know, some people are upset. Why would you print PLA on a Voron? Because I don't want to print ABS. Leave me alone. I got the past couple nights I've been looking at start and end G code online. I also ordered one of these belt tensioner, and I wasn't terribly far off on my A, B, and Z belts. In fact, the Z belts were pretty darn close. Made some adjustments. Then I did some preliminary Z height adjust. I'm running tap. I did the probe calibrate. I put a piece of paper under the nozzle, lowered the nozzle until it was just dragging on the paper. When I started this print, it was printing way too high and it wasn't pulling filament through evenly at all. It pulls some through and then it wouldn't be printing anything. So I guess the gears weren't quite meshing right on the extruder. I'm not sure that they are now. I just kind of tightened up the adjustment knob on the side of the tool head there until it looked like it was and felt like it was pulling the filament. Where I decided to put the filament is I've got the filament holder from the Voron design here that uses a piece of Bowden tube on the top to make it slick so this spins. And the best way I figured to route it was along the side and around a corner and through the back, trying not to get any kinks to bind up the filament. And it seems to be working okay-ish. I'm not sure if I need to tighten it a little bit more or if there's anything else I need to do to adjust that. When it's done, I'll take a look at it, see if it looks like I've got some under extrusion or anything that would tell me, well, give me a sign that maybe it's the filament's still not flowing well. I can see it on the camera, so I don't know if you can see it. If I point at the wall, a little more obvious. If you can see flashing, that's because of the pulse width modulation that the printer uses to keep the hot end and the bed at a set temperature. Basically, it provides power and then turns the power off, on and off very quickly. And our electrical capacity in this house is not stellar, and so we get LED lighting that flickers. Back with good old incandescent bulbs, they don't flicker because they don't work like LED bulbs. They have a filament that warms up when the bulb uses the voltage, and then quick changes like this that would make an LED bulb blink don't make an incandescent bulb blink to where you would notice it. So there's nothing I can do about that. Maybe a UPS? Not sure. What we really should do is get the entire house rewired, but that ain't gonna be cheap, so. Again, this is PLA, so I don't think I'd normally run it with the doors closed. There are 2 fans in the hot end there. And there's also 2 fans that you can see right there that blow across the electronics underneath the printer. Just sitting in the same room doing other things with this printer without using it. I do hear a fair amount of cracking. I think I've mentioned that, might have mentioned that in one of my past videos. I tracked some of it down to the handles. I don't know if you can hear that or the printer, but I believe it's these gray plastic standoffs. Remember, the gray parts, the person who printed the parts for me used filament that was not good, and it has severe layer adhesion problems. So also these handles are bent inwards because these spacers are actually not at a good height. So I could reprint those in PETG or something. Lower them a bit to even up the handle, but right now I don't really care because I've spent the last several nights, as I said, trying to get this thing to print, which meant putting start and print start and print end G-code in that I got online. They did come up with errors because I don't have bed mesh enabled, which I didn't realize wasn't enabled by default. So I went to the Voron page and found their default bed mesh code. So when this is done printing, I will look in my printer config and see if that is actually in the config but is commented out, or if they just, for whatever reason, don't put that in their G-code, the default printer config code, and I have to add it. So it would do like a quad gantry level and then sit there for a while, give me an error that it doesn't understand the bed mesh clear. And I would do another quad gantry level after setting the nozzle temperature to 150. And then it would give me another bed mesh level error. And for some reason, it looks like it's trying to do a bed mesh twice, which I don't quite get that. I'll have to check the code again to see if it's supposed to do that, or if because it's getting that error, it's trying to repeat the code and hoping it can find bed mesh. I'm not sure why it's doing it twice. It seems to me that's a little redundant. If you've done a quad gantry level and you've done a bed mesh, why would you need to do it again? But yeah, at this point, I'm just happy that I have a first print that is, what does it say, 27% done. So I still don't know. This is it's a pretty good print file. It's got, you can see down at the bottom there, hopefully you can see at the bottom, it's got some angles to test your overhangs. It's got some bridging. When it gets to like the middle of the cube, it puts a bridge over the hole that's in the center. It's got embossed areas around the sides, so it's a pretty cool cube that's testing all different kinds of things. Apart from any testing that I'm going to need to do after taking the cube off, measuring it, looking at the quality and all that jazz, I have not done anything with Input Shaper. I haven't even looked up how to do anything with Input Shaper. I'm running the Nighthawk SB umbilical setup, so it does have the chip on it to do input shaping, the accelerometer, gyroscope, whatever chips on the tool head. So we'll see the quality of this that comes off the printer without any of that, and then I'll see what I can do to improve any problems I might have to begin with before I get to the point where I'm doing input shaper. But yeah, video showing that after, I'd have to go look at my first video. Way too long to get this up and running because of parts that were not sent to me that were specific to the Voron 2.4 kit supplied by LDO, combined with parts that were breaking because of layer adhesion problems with the gray filament, and waiting for parts to arrive, and getting fed up and losing faith in the quality of the gray parts, so I ordered a carbon fiber gantry. And finally we're to the stage where we're actually printing, and I'm just crossing my fingers that it'll print and the whole thing won't absolutely collapse after or during printing its first item. So at this point, I'll call it a significant milestone. I won't know if it's a true success or not until I look at the quality of the print, if it makes it all the way through. But so far it's looking pretty good. Alright, well, we got Z-banding. Fair amount of Z-banding, actually. I believe this is the part that was, this is how this printed with this part forward. On the bottom, I was doing a live Z adjustment, so the bottom layer can't really judge because nozzle was too high, so I had to lower it. So see all the way through that, and you can see inside. There's a hole. There's bridging. Yeah. Not too happy with the amount of Z-banding on there, but there we go. Print number 1 success. Oh shoot, I have not measured it with the micrometer. That's a vital step, but hey, successful print of something. Issues I have is bed leveling, bed mesh. I just went through the steps to set that up. Hopefully that will work now. Of course, it wasn't a simple addition. I had to change several things. Oh shoot, I lied. I haven't finished it because I didn't put the bed mesh, actual bed mesh part. But before you do the bed mesh part, you have to change something in the Moonraker config. You have to change in the printer config. Just one statement, exclude object. You have to go to your slicer, which I'm using PrusaSlicer, and click the labeled objects button. And I've got a bed mesh script that I'm ready to put into the printer config. That good thing I'm making this video, or I would have forgot to do that. In the process, I am way behind on updates for everything on this printer. I updated Clipper and Clipper screen, and that's all I did. Everything needs to be updated, but I only wanted to update a couple things at a time, so if something fails, I won't have so many parameters if I had updated everything at once. I got something wrong with my print end macros, just a couple lines in PrusaSlicer. When I looked at the Clipper screen, it said that the print was canceled. Basically what it did was it finished the print and then the nozzle just sat where it finished. It didn't lift up and move or anything, so I've screwed that up, but at least I got a print out of it, so happy about that.